Hey guys, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's Mousy, the ultimate SL clout chaser, and I have a amazing interview lined up for you guys today. We have an incredible guest with us, Mannie Mack, also known as Mr. MGM. He's not just any fighter, he's a two-time champion and the founder of and CEO of Gridwide Fighting Championship, which is the #1 destination for boxing and MMA entertainment on the grid. Um, I will allow Manny to, at this point, tell us a little bit more about that because there are a lot of rumors swirling around. We're jumping right in, guys, in case you haven't noticed. But Manny, there's a lot of rumors swirling around that the MGM Grand is no longer. You care to clarify?
We definitely, I definitely decided after GWFC 24 that we were going to close the league and go on to do other things. So that was the last event, pending a couple of things that'll be happening over the next 12 months or so. But yeah, as of now, it is closed indefinitely.
That's really sad.
I mean, it's really not. It's bittersweet, yeah.
Okay.
But if you consider where this league has been and what this league has accomplished in the 4 years that we've been around, it's really not a sad thing. It's kind of it's celebratory. You know, we've done a lot. We've made some huge milestones as far as the boxing community goes on the grid, and you know, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a hard act to follow. It's 4 years, 24 sold out events. Um, Countless fighters in and out of these doors. The GWFC will go down in history as one of the greatest to touch the grid, and I'm okay with that. At that length of time, especially considering real life SL businesses, a lot of businesses don't even make it to see their first anniversary. We were able to see four. So, you know, it's change is good. So don't be sad. It's the league may be closed, but that's definitely not the last that anybody will see from Mr. MGM or the MGM Grand or any of us. So
Yeah, so I think that's right. You corrected my terminology by saying bittersweet versus sad because there's definitely been tons of highs and I'm sure lows and everything in between. But with that being said, for those viewers who have no idea who you are, they must be living under a rock somewhere. Tell us about yourself and how you kind of got started. And when I say how you got started, how did you even find SL? Let's start there.
Oh, so I've been using programs like Maya and Blender and things like that, making mesh cars, bikes, boats, things like that for a long time. And a friend of mine who's actually still in SL running around, we were friends so we used to run these big Skype chats, and I met her in there, and I was showing, I had been showing people some of my work, and she mentioned that there was a virtual world where I could upload that mesh and even animate and market and sell it, and I I said, show me, and started. Came in here, and I spent probably my first 3 months just learning about SL and learning about the ins and outs and how to do this and how to do that. Started learning about LSL, and haven't looked back.
Okay. And for those of you who don't know, LSL is basically a Second Life scripting language, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so just wanted to clarify that for you. So when you first entered SL, I mean, this place can be overwhelming. It's so grand, but it's also awe-inspiring. What were your first thoughts, and what was kind of like your biggest challenge?
Um, I would have to say my biggest challenge would have been definitely coming to the realization that if you want to run a business here, it's not any different or easier than running a business in real life. It takes the same level of dedication, takes the same level of the the no quit attitude, going through the rough patches, and you have to do it when you don't want to do it. You have to you have to bite the bullet and learn to deal with people, which was still to this day a struggle for me. So the ins and outs of business, I think isn't not just me, but a lot of people struggle with that. So that would probably be the my biggest challenge. When I first got here, I think every day for probably the first, even today, I still see things that are just like, wow. I mean, it just unbelievable. The advancements of the grid, the capabilities of the grid advancing, us, the way we look, just every day it's something new that's just like, I can't believe this is even possible here. It is definitely awe-inspiring.
Yeah. It's like it's a replication of reality in a virtual world. So it's insane. Yeah. And
Exactly.
yeah, I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. So that kind of was your biggest challenge, was navigating people when you first started, and then eventually navigating people with the other challenges of navigating business, sort of problem solving, if you will. Would you say that is correct?
Yeah, definitely,
All right.
definitely.
So you're on SL, you're learning about your inventory and how to add clothes versus wearing them, and how to get your obby right, and how to walk and talk and do those sorts of things, set up land. At what point did you think to yourself it would be a good idea to start boxing and then ultimately creating your own league?
So yeah, one of the first things that I definitely knew that I wanted to do here was something in the MMA or boxing world. So I was a lot of people don't know this, but I was a pro am full contact kickboxer in real life for 9 years. I
Wow.
started as a wrestler in high school, and kind of just evolved into competing in like taekwondo events and things like that. And then when I was in like 12th grade, I met some guys that were into K1 kickboxing, which is full contact kickboxing, and just spent the next 9 years doing pro-am events in my city. And so fast forward, when I hit SL, it was like, that was, I wanted to find a boxing community like this many people. I was like, there has to be something somewhere where people are holding those types of events. And surprisingly enough, there was nothing. I mean, there's groups that some of the people in the groups, or most of the people in the groups, hadn't been enrolled in 10 years. There was there was things like Lonsdale back then, and there was another one called Thunder Boxing. It was, and they were just docile, never anything going on. So that was it was at that point I spent probably 2 or 3 weeks looking through these groups, trying to find these people. Once I realized that it wasn't active, I said, I'm going to build it. I'm going to build the community that I want to be a part of. And I started talking to some friends, some people around me that knew the system. Back then the system was Combat Evolutions. So I started talking to some friends, and we started planning an event for the Sunday, the following Sunday, which would have been about 4 days we spent promoting and building up the very first arena, which was it was called the MGM Royale back then. A 5,000 prim homestead like that. That land was we couldn't res nothing else out on that land because people shit would start getting returned. It was just packed. But we started planning the event on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday to run that Sunday. There were 90 people there. And I said, this is it. Like, this is, SL is starving for this. They want this. So I started implementing things like ticket sales and hiring permanent fighters, ring girls, and the GWFC was born.
Wow, I had no idea that you were actually a a trained athlete and brought your passion that you trained at for almost a decade, right? Because you said 7+ years into SL, so you just married the two.
Kinda. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's dope. I didn't know that. Okay, that's, yeah, really interesting. So you throw your first event, and was it success or a disaster?
Oh, the first event was a blast. Like it set the stage. We had so much fun. 90 people in attendance. A lot of the who's who was in there. City Machiavelli. And there was a guy, there was guys like Brandon Ghost and Moneyman Firethorn, and a lot of the who's who in the boxing community was all there. And it was definitely one of the events that I'll always hold near and dear to me. We had a blast that day. A blast. We had so much fun. The event was scheduled for 2 hours. It actually ended up going 4. I actually gave out the very first GWFC championship title. It was amazing. It was amazing. I mean, if it tells you anything, that event set the stage to make me be like, this is what I want to do. Like, I want this to be it for as long as we can do it. You know what I mean? So definitely wasn't a disaster. We had a ball. I didn't make a dime off of it. Not one dime. Didn't sell a ticket. But, it was great. Loved it.
That's amazing. And shout out to Brandon as well, friends of Mack and I. So moving on to the next thing, right? So now you create this event and you see that people have taken to it and they enjoy it and they love it. Although you didn't make money for it, money from it, something clicks and you're just like, this is what I need to be doing in SL. Like you found your niche. So with that being said, did you automatically start creating a team, or did you take a break and kind of plan this all out in terms of I need to have fighters, I need to put on little tournaments? How did you approach this situation?
So immediately, I really kind of just knew what needed to be done. The fact that we were on a homestead that we couldn't even res anything out was the very first thing that had to change, right? So I moved right away. I think even that next day, I gave up that land and moved it onto a half sim. I actually, one of the only times that I've employed someone to help build the arena. There's a girl out here that runs a company by the name of London Twist. She runs a company called Twist of Love. She's one of the premier landscapers and builders on the grid. So I contacted her and we built a bigger, more luxurious MGM Royale. Kept it the name MGM Royale. Actually didn't change it till later on. And probably 2 months later, the next event was on, and people were just astounded by that arena. Looking back, that second arena was amazing. You know what I mean? And the time, like just like it is now. So that the MGM Grand has always filled the land that it's on. It wasn't no different. The MGM Royale filled that entire half sim. And when we would do events, it would be packed. We did 23 sold out events. There was only one event that I've ever done that did not sell out. And every time there was 90 plus people there, people rushing to the box offices to get tickets. Back then it wasn't hard to get fighters. People knew what was going on. They would, all I would have to do is get the buzz out, let people know that we're doing an event. I would do that without even having any fighters, because I knew that by the time the event would be on, there would be a full card. And every time it was no problem. So it really wasn't until the next event that I actually started requiring fighters to sign a contract, so to speak, and be a part of the league and be in the gym practicing. And it just took off. It took off, and there was really no drawbacks for a long time. Everything was, there was people showing up. There was that was when I met the original Legacy Mesh Body creator. pulled up to the MGM Royale and loved what he saw, and immediately became a not only a season ticket holder. So he came down one day and asked me. He was like, "So how many fights do you guys have a month?" I told him at the time, I didn't know. I was like, so we do two shows a month, yada yada. Just got to talking, you know what I mean? And he at that time said, "All right, I want to buy that box because we had the VIP boxes. I want to buy that box for the rest of the season." And so he dropped 40K on me right there, and said, "I want that box. I want to put the Legacy logo on it." And he definitely set the stage for personalizing the VIP boxes. But anyway, he said, "I want that box." And the crazy part about it is he dropped 40K for a VIP box. And I think that season he came to 2 shows. Didn't even come.
That's crazy.
So we started implementing things like sponsors. Everybody that had a business wanted to sponsor the GWFC. We had Get Rich Gaming. We had Real Nigga Radio, Legacy Mesh Body, Lelutka. Everybody that had a business came out and wanted to sponsor the GWFC. It was new, it was fresh, it was active, and it was fun. So, we looked up and we had almost 20 different businesses that just wanted to throw money at it and be a part of it and have their logos over the ring and have their logos on the flyers. And it was an amazing time for the history of boxing in SL. Everybody that's been a fighter in SL has been through there, has been through this league. So it was a glorious time for the league and for boxing as a whole. And a time that we'll never, I don't think any of us will ever forget.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like cherished memories, and those are some great highlights that you shared with us. So thanks for sharing that. How long have you been in SL at this point?
So I was in SL, so it's been 8 years.
Okay.
I started, created an account, made an Abby, came here, didn't like it. I didn't come back for about another, I don't know. I didn't know anybody. I think that's why. But when I actually came back and stayed, that's when I was really started to learn about how to run a business, and so it's been 8 years total now. But I had another account that kind of got in some trouble. So
Yeah, but so when you came back, you were more intentional about it. So the reason I asked you how long you were in SL, because it's going to lead to 2 other questions. So the first question is, you described this event that you held in the past, like this fresh, exciting new thing that brought people together. People were active, not just shopping or platforming. And you said it was a time to be in SL. What do you feel differs about today's events versus the event you held back then?
It's things in SL become mundane over time. That's one thing that I've always tried to keep things fresh, so that didn't happen. But it's definitely hard to do, and there has been quite a bit of I'll just say inner turmoil that has kind of made people. The community as a whole is divided, and that's something that we were never back then. Never divided. We were all. Everybody would. Everybody knew on Sundays it was time to pull up to the MGM Royale for something, whether it was a big event, a tournament, something, and everybody that was involved would show up. Now we got this faction over here that don't want to come because this faction is there, or this faction over here beefing with this cat. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of division now. You know what I mean? And I can't. I would be lying if I didn't say that I wasn't a part of some of that. I definitely take some responsibility there. But it regretfully, there's just too much division, too many politics, too many politics. So
that leads me to my next question. How has your social currency changed as the popularity of the MGM Grand grew?
social currency is in like the revenue. What we
No,
like.
social currency in terms of your popularity, how people treat you, and in effect, how it impacted your business.
Oh man. So I would have to say, once we had people like Brandon Ghost and Legacy Mesh Body on the team, we definitely started to grow. That would be something that was at that point it was inevitable. People started to know who people kind of knew who I was anyway because I've always had the dealership, and most people had been by me at some point doing business in some form or fashion. But as far as the boxing community goes, once we did, I think it was GWFC 6 because I took a break. I had some tragedy going on in real life. Took a break, came back and did GWFC 6. We called it the Return. And Moneyman Firethorn fought in that. Brandon Ghost fought in that. London Gunner fought in that. That was when I think people started to be like, okay, this ain't no fluke. We had Neve and Anthony brought his MC, and they became sponsors. Me and Neve and Anthony can't stand each other. All right, he came and decided to sponsor the events because he could only respect what we had going on,
Right.
and that was a time for me where I was like, you know, that's what's up right there. Like I can't take nothing away from that. You know what I mean? I think that was the time when people started to see that this ain't no fly by night, and I was determined to be here. I was like, you know, as long as y'all are gonna accept us or accept me as the front runner of this great league, I'm gonna be here. So
So as the MGM Grand gets more popular, obviously you get more popular by default. And it sounds like initially it brought a lot of people together. So tell us the pros and cons of being popular in SL because I feel like we don't talk about that enough.
oh man, there's quite a bit. So I wouldn't really say that there's a lot of cons. I mean, you can if you're out here doing grimy shit that you want to be shady about, want to be hidden about, then maybe you could say that it's a con when people know who you are. But when you're actually doing something that's quote unquote positive or for the community, being well known is it can't do anything but help. You know what I mean? Like I've gotten a lot of accolades and a lot of help from other factions just because they knew about the GWFC. DJ Penix is a family member of mine, and when he pulled up and donated a bunch of lendings to the cause, it was just on the strength of, yo, this shit is dope, and I want to support. You know, it's those are things that are always going to be pros. If you're thinking in terms of people that are out here wrong, you know, you'd have to ask them because I've never been really caught up in no. I mean, you've seen the social media, what goes on social media. That would definitely, I would say that on that side, that could be considered a con because the eyes are always on you. No matter where you go, eyes are always on you. Somebody's always watching. So that's really never been anything that bothered me, though. I'm always on my grizzly, so.
Okay, that makes sense. So I think the reason that I asked that is because you said, you know, in today's environment, there seems to be a lot of divisiveness. So I was wondering, as something like the MGM, as it grows and gets bigger, does it cause like, is it the reason for internal conflict within groups?
Um, I don't think the growing of the league had anything to do with that. No, no, I don't think the popularity of the league had anything to do with that at all. I think it was the not too many chiefs. Everybody wants to be a chief. You know what I mean? Well, I take that back. As the league grew, more people wanted their face seen. There was definitely some more arguments. People wanted, people arguing about things like title shots and, definitely being the front runner of that and being the one that had to make the decisions on stuff like that. It got tiring.
It's
It's tiring.
challenging, right? Yeah, I would imagine that
Very
would be
much
the
so.
challenge. Like you
Very
said,
much so.
even just managing all these different personalities. So I would think what would have helped you is, you're an athlete and this is your craft that you practice over 7 years, close to a decade at, right? How did that help you become successful in Second Life?
Just knowing what I wanted the direction that I wanted to go, would probably be the number one culprit for that. But I really wouldn't attribute that to my real life experience. I would attribute that to being around a great team and always having an amazing support system behind me. Because nobody gets anywhere in SL by themselves, even with all the politics and all the beefs. People falling out and the best friends one day can't stand each other the next day. Even with all that, you still can't. There's no way that you're going to do anything successful by yourself. You need that team. You need a group of people that everybody has a talent, and that's been the biggest help for me. I actually did everything that we had been doing by myself for like the first year and a half, and after maybe 10 GWFC 10 or 11, I I met Amethyst and was blessed enough to, she was in awe the very first event, and she just kind of hired herself into her vice president role, and that time, and then I wanted to like allocate everything that needed to be done to an entire group. Like that was really the first time that I said, I don't want to do this by myself no more. You know what I mean? Like it feels nice to be able to have be like, I can't log on or I got something else going on, but all I have to do is, pick up the phone and send a message and, get a message to a group or to a couple people like, yo, can you, and know that it's going to be done. Like it's about, having a team, and the people on the grid that understand that are successful.
I agree with
There's,
that.
yeah.
How did you cultivate your inner circle? Like, how do you know who to trust, who to kind of keep at arm's length, who to have just like a high buy relationship with?
I've got a friends list of over 1,000 people.
I imagine.
It's you don't. I mean, you hear a lot of people say things like, I keep my circle small, but if you're in business, that's really an impossibility. But I would have to say that I started with family. You know what I mean? Like my brother, he's been around me for my whole time here. Amethyst, she is and always has been the support. She supports me, has supported me from the word go. You know what I mean? Even if I'm wrong, she's gonna be behind me. You know what I mean? And chastise me behind closed doors, but in public, she's she's my right hand. And also people like people that see the vision. At the time, Brandon Ghost was a huge support. He used to do things like just out of nowhere, you would start seeing things, advertisements for the GWFC all over his social medias, and he would pull up with his crew, and they were all very supportive. It's hard to know who you can trust out here, because at any given moment, somebody can get salty about something you say or do, or something that went on that they don't like, and then all of a sudden they at your neck, they on your t-shirt. You know what I mean? That's just the risk you take. That's one of the hard, and that's not just Second Life, that's real life.
Facts.
You don't know who to trust. You don't know who to trust. You take that risk. Because if you don't trust anybody, failure is inevitable. You know what I mean? But you can take the chance and trust someone, and maybe you'll get somewhere. So
That's true, but you also at the same time don't want to put the wrong person in the right position. You know, if that makes sense.
oh yeah.
They could crumble the empire. But with that being said, a lot of people say the virtual world is full of drama, but your story kind of tells a different tale because it sounds like it brought a lot of people together. A lot of people who said, you know what, I believe in this idea, so I want to fight, or I believe I want to work on the administrative end, or I just want to come and support by buying like season tickets or just showing up and buying a seat. So, how do you, what's your advice for people who want to avoid drama in Second Life?
Log off. Log off, because energies are heightened here, emotions are heightened here. If you don't understand things like communication, it's inevitable.
Conflict resolution, how do you, how about that?
Me personally, so the first thing that I do not do is, if there's a problem, we don't need to talk right now, bro. I'm mad. Just, I'm pissed off. Don't get in my box. Don't pull up on me yelling and screaming and all that. Give us a minute to let the shit calm down and think about shit before we have this conversation. You know what I mean? Because nobody's gonna win that screaming match over the mics. Like, that shit is stupid. You know what I mean? Secondly, this shit does not need to be public. We don't need to be in front of a bunch of people arguing about it, and everybody don't need to know about this beef. You know what I mean? We can hash this shit out privately, or we can take it to the ring and handle it like gentlemen. You know what I mean? And believe it or not, this is virtual boxing, but that shit works. That shit has worked a lot of times. Also, don't call me out my name. I'm not gonna do that to you. You know what I mean? Just be grown about the shit. Like, there is conflict resolution for every situation. Every situation here can be resolved without nobody, talking about somebody's real life shit, or it does not have to go there. There's so many people that as soon as a beef happens, that's their first choice. They want to start talking about somebody's real life and this and that and what they, you know what I mean? And that's, no. You've never seen me in an argument that would get that deep, because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Very well said.
Now, I ain't gonna say never. There has been one time for sure where I definitely lost my cool, and people have been all kind of bitches and punk ass niggas and y'all, you know what I mean?
Right.
But that solves nothing. It solves nothing.
But as a rule of thumb, you use the 24-hour rule. Like, let's just cool down and then just come back together and see what happens.
Sometimes longer than that. Sometimes longer than that. I've had issues with certain people where I didn't see or speak their name for probably a month, maybe 2 months. You know what I mean? And did not make an attempt to reach out to squash the drama. Just, when I see you, I'll see you when I see you, and we'll hash it out then, maybe not.
Okay.
It may not be 24 hours. 24 hours is, that's a little bit. It's still fresh. 24 hours shit.
But yeah, that's true. But I would say 24 hours, at least you're not ready to get active. So I usually like to just have a cool down period. And usually I don't stay mad long about anything. So that's usually my time frame. But yes, for others, it may be longer. So for those listening to this video, to this YouTube video, and they're like, you know what? That sounds so dope. And it actually sounds like something I could do, because now there's going to be a gap that Manny's left. And I think I could fill those shoes. What advice would you have for them?
I would say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Plan for every possible situation. You need to think out every single possible circumstance that could ever happen. And don't be surprised when you think that you've thought out every situation that could possibly happen, something happens that you didn't think about. You gotta put every bit of your energy into making sure that you've covered every base. You have to put every bit of energy into making sure that, first of all, that the people around you respect you. Because if at some point you call yourself the head of some organization, and you lose your respect somehow by doing some fuck shit, Second Life is unforgiving. Unforgiving. You get one chance, and if let your name end up on come across somebody's Instagram on some fuck shit, you're done. Period. Make sure that you're planning. You plan. When you think you've done everything, go back and do it. Look at it again, because this shit is trying to be the head of something, even in real life, is man, it's hard. It's hard. And a place like Second Life, where you don't have things like body language to read, or you don't have the opportunity to do things like dap your homie up when y'all have a little spit spat. Because there's lots of times when a teeny beat, a little disagreement could turn into something big and blown up. If you could be in front of your homie's face, look that nigga in the eye like, bro, listen, it wouldn't have to be that. You have to make sure that the people that's behind you are behind you.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot. Like I could go on for hours about telling anybody that would want to plan to do something like that. It's a lot.
What about just the basics, right? Because I find that like just being consistent, that's something, right?
That's definitely a thing. Consistency is definitely a thing. Dedication to it. You be prepared to lose some sleep, because there's going to be a lot of long nights. Stay consistent. Better your craft every time. You always want to continue to get better every time. Like, so I was telling you about the flyers before. It was very clear to me that the first couple events, that there was something wrong with the way that things went. People loved it. The crowd loved it, but when I would go back and look at how things went, or go back and rewatch the tape, there was things that I would look at and be like, you have to be a perfectionist as well, because every little detail counts. You know what I mean? It's a lot. It is a lot.
I think you literally dropped some jewels on us. You basically said, look, you have to have good conflict resolution skills. You have to have organizational skills. You have to make sure you're checking your blind spots. Like, once you plan for something, go back and review your plans and make sure you didn't leave anything out. Don't rest on your laurels and keep improving upon the process, right? That's basically what
Absolutely.
I'm hearing you say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and be consistent and show up. Like, don't be talented and then just expect things to just work out for you.
Yeah, it's a lot of Michael Jordans out here too that don't like to, they just want to set it and forget it.
Yeah.
Can't do that. It is a constant grind.
So only if you feel comfortable about this, because I'm a little nosy and I know SL people are nosy too. How lucrative is this business, like being an event organizer for sports? And share what you feel comfortable with, even if that's nothing.
Oh yeah, so GWFC events, the main events, the numbered events, back at about 12 or 13, we started consistently doing between 60 and 90K an event. But there's some caveats to that. We've also had sponsorships by some of the top companies on the grid.
Right.
We've also had a undying fan base that has been willing to come out and pay that ticket price to make sure. We've also had 3 different venues where every event. There was an ass in every seat. It can be lucrative, but you don't want to get into it for that. If you get into it because of the money, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. There has to be something else, basically. You know what I mean? Like if your passion is just the money, you're not going to make it. Because there are also times when the money is terrible, when you're spending your own money, type shit. So a good example would be GWFC 24. It did 83 or 84K, something like that. But even with that being the last event, that shit went right back to the staff, the fighters, the land tier. That's the biggest land tier. And then we right back to 1,100 L's. Like it's so for a long time I was taking the proceeds and cashing out every time. We get to 50K, I'm cashing out. I want my USD. But I started to think that was selfish, which is another reason why I say you can't get into it just for the money. It can't be about the money. It's got to be a passion for it. You have to have a passion for people. At a time, it became more about, I just wanted to do something that when you put something together and everybody, all your friends and everybody you care about is involved in that, and you get to hear them running around, laughing, having a great time, that's a great feeling.
It sure is.
You know what I mean? That's a great feeling. If you don't get that warm and fuzzy feeling from shit like that, you running something that takes a bunch of people is not for you. You have to be a people. You have to do it for the people. You know what I mean? One thing that I've always said, and anybody that's ever fought for me, I always hear this, they'll tell you, I always say this. This is not a me thing. This is a we thing. You know what I mean? Like I do everything that I've done has been for the better of the league as a whole. I don't do things selfishly. Like there's people that been to the fights, didn't even know that I was the owner of the league, because it's never been about me. It's been about his shine and her shine. You know what I mean? There ain't no big pictures of me around the MGM. Who is there pictures of? You know what I mean? Fighters. You know what I mean? It's always been about somebody else. So, and I'm definitely gonna miss it. There's some great times, man. I've had some great times with some great people. I've had some great times with some people that can kiss my ass right now. You know what I mean? I'm definitely gonna miss it.
So, on that note, why are you closing? I feel like it's too soon.
No, it's not. But listen, 4 years is a long time for anything. There are a lot of businesses in SL that will never see 4 years.
That's true.
We've done it all, man. And listen, I would say that we're on a long pause, pending some things happening later on this year. We may reopen.
That's fair.
Never know. You know what I mean? But as for right now, I just want to be regular old Mannie for a little while. Like I don't want to be, that's a lot of work. That's a whole lot of work. I just want to do something that's not so stressful and not so, when you have to watch friends, people come into the league as friends, within a couple weeks they're at each other's throats because of these fights and these titles. That's hard. And when you have friends that now are like, fuck Mannie Mack type shit, you know what I mean? Like, that's tough, man. That's tough. Some people that I was real close with over this boxing shit, we'll never be the same. Over this boxing shit, over these make-believe titles and these virtual fights, somebody that could have been a lifelong friend we beefing. We'll never talk. We'll never speak again. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's a hard pill to swallow. And the fucked up part is, did I exploit that? Absolutely. Because when two people come in here and all of a sudden they boys, and all of a sudden and people notice that they beefing and they about to get in the ring, man, listen, you know how people rush to make sure they get to that fight. You know what I mean? Man, I had to be the exploiter of that. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm a fight promoter. That's what happens. That takes a toll on you, though. It takes a toll on you. So I just want to relax for a while. You know what I mean?
I hear you. So what are you gonna do? What's next for you?
So we got the low and slow car, low rider expo going on right now. It's been going on all week. We got some concerts that we're gonna be doing in the MGM. I have GMC has a couple of new pretty important builds coming out. I just want to be under the radar, be out the way for a little while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People may not. You know, I'm not going to be as visible on the grid probably for a while, but I'll be here. Just not as accessible. This weekend we got and this car show is gonna be dope.
Yeah, let's go down. Let's go look at it. Come on.
Yeah, let's do that.
And so just before we go, I want to say this, guys, if you've never been to a Mannie Mack event, so my first event, I've been to like a couple of kind of like not a huge event like the one you just had a few weeks ago, right? Has it been a few weeks, like a week or two ago? Let me tell you.
That was on 20. Wait. That was earlier this month. Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. So as soon as you TP in, you're on a red carpet, and there's all the NPCs taking pictures of you, and then it teleports you into this waiting room. And Mannie pays attention to all the details because, you know, Second Life is laggy. Let's keep it real. So, you know, there's a script count to make sure that everyone's comfortable, they're not lagging, they're able to see the fight. We were brought up to this beautiful skybox, but there were ringside seats. There was a halftime show, and everyone seemed happy in the, you know, the general admission seats. It was quite a production, and I don't think I've seen anything like that in Second Life. You did so good. You did so good. I can't stress that enough. I kept talking about it to everyone for days.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I really loved it.
And it's people like you that that definitely kept it going, because I love to hear that. I love to hear that, you know what I mean? And I can never take all the credit. I've always had an amazing team behind me. You know, people like Amethyst, Barris Noriega, or Cam Ritchie. I've always had a very talented and very willing team to assist with making this what it was. So yeah, a lot of fun, man. Lots of fun.
So with everything, guys, there's going to be regrets, but there's also like the hard work is really worth it, because I just hear it in your voice, like how much you love this and how much you poured into it and how many great memories you have. And on that note, we're going to create new memories. So let's head down to the car show. We didn't plan this, so guys, if my camera gets a little wonky, just bear with us. But I'll TP you down. Yeah, let's go down there and show you guys what's going on. Wait, I hope I don't end up at the driving spot.
No, I'm gonna turn it off, and so the landing point is up in front of the door. So
okay, here I am. Okay, guys, let me fix my pose. I could do this one. All right, so let me just fix my pose, and I'm gonna go off unavailable for a second. Is Mannie here? Hold on, let me look at my. Let me just TP them down. Mack is here. We'll TP Mack over too. Oh, there's people in there. It's okay though. You'll give us a tour, Mannie.
Yeah, for sure.
And then explain to us what we're looking at as we walk in.
All right. So this is the slow and low, lowrider and classic car expo and auction. So what we have here is some of the best builders on the grid have all collectively come in and put one of their favorite builds or favorite cars down to be judged to win our first place prize, which is to be determined, but it's probably going to be around in the five figures. So,
Five
yeah.
figures.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Okay.
oh yeah. Some and when I say some of the best builders on the grid, I'm not exaggerating even a little bit. So starting over here, so Capo, which is my brother's pops right here,
Man.
has been out here building in SL for how long you been out here building, man?
Oh man, sheesh, 2010.
Lots of years, lots of
Oh,
years.
you built your car? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah, my
yeah.
own stuff. Yeah,
So that was the plan, was to have as many people that build their cars be a part of it as possible. We have a bunch of people that built their vehicles, but then we also didn't want to shut out the people that maybe have a custom car that they've had been made, or something that they bought that they just really favor a lot. We didn't want to shut them out, so we've also allowed them to come and res their cars and allow them to be a part of the event.
yeah. It's all about the experience. Shit.
Right.
Okay, so there's two parts of the event. So number one, we have people who build cars. They can rent a space here, and how much is the space?
So it's $4.99 for the week.
$4.99 for the week.
$4.99 gets you the space for the week. The gets you the group invite and gets you the spot on the board to be have your car be judged. Also, we promote everybody. So if you have a shop or a store or some other type of business that you want to promote, just being a part of this, we also help promote your business a little bit. We've also got sponsor spots, sponsor tents all the way around, all the way around the outer edge. We've actually got a few that are still open.
Okay.
But for 2K, you would be able to not only put your car or anything. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a car. If someone that makes clothes wants to be a sponsor, they can come and they would pay the meter. They can put their kiosk or their table down, and we I'm sure you have seen we go pretty hard for our sponsors. We did a commercial for the car show, also the flyer, and it's all over social media. So everywhere that you would see an advertisement for this, you would see an advertisement for your business, and that's the sponsors. Feature tents over there, the yellow tents. That's going to be maybe people like that don't really care about the spotlight so much, but just want to be seen, right? So they can pay a fee and just be over there on the stage.
Oh,
So
oh,
lots of opportunity.
okay, just to clarify. So if you buy one of these like Matt, the ground floor spaces, it's $4.99 you said, right? And you have entry and you're able to enter the contest in two ways. Number one, guys, if you put your car here, people can vote for your car. They just right click, pay 100 linden and vote for your car. You can come down, you don't have to vote at all. You can just walk around, enjoy the cars, and kind of determine who you might want make a custom for your birthday even. Then you have the
Absolutely.
sponsored tents here. This by Graphite is really beautiful. Graphics by Seven, yeah, that's really beautiful. And if you have your own like favorite classic car that you want to enter, you have the opportunity to be judged A by the popular vote, which is the votes I just showed you, and then also by the judges vote. And there are certain requirements that need to be met, and I'm just going to touch on them briefly, but I'll put the Google Doc in there in case you're interested. But some of the requirements you need to meet is A, your car must start, you must be able to drive it, all the doors must work. If you have a superior paint job where there's flames, PBR, or something special about your car that'll up the points, also hydraulics, things like that. Am I missing anything, Manny?
So for this particular event, we have a theme, the lowrider and old school theme. So we also have to fall into under those guidelines. nothing newer than a 2000.
Okay.
Because of the theme. But yeah, outside of that, and then also, we don't want people that's just going to come in and put their car down and go. You know what I mean? We want nice to do nice displays. Like if you look around, the really nice displays are up on some type of platform, or there's some type of scene around it. Just we really want it to look like you're at a Go Rider show in California, in LA. You know what I mean? So all that plays in, yeah.
And guys, just to let you know, the event starts today. It lasts 3 days. So you have 3 days to get your friends to come in here, vote for your cars. So you have the opportunity to win the popular vote. And then the vote that goes to the judges, where I gave you some of the requirements, that's going to be judged when? On the first or throughout the car show? How does that work?
So our judges are actually starting to judge cars right now. So it's going on. We have a lot of cars here, so we want to make sure that everybody gets their time by Sunday. So we're gonna have it'll come in 2 waves. We will so they'll judge all of the cars down to the top 5, where we'll do is it 5, 4 or 5? 4 or 5 down to so we'll judge all the cars, top 5, move on to the next round, to the second round. So the top 5 will be the finalists, quote unquote, which will be judged on Sunday, and that's going to be kind of the theatrics of it, right? We'll judge those cars and reveal the scores while the crowd's here, announce the winner, and get them the trophy, the money, the notoriety. So yeah.
And bragging rights. And then let's talk about the auction portion of this. How does the auction portion work?
Yeah, so if you built your car, if your team built your car and it is transferable, you have the option to enter your car into the auction, where so if you have the capability to do that, you also off the rip, the very least you're going to get is your entry fee back. We'll start the bidding at 500. If nobody bids, we'll cut it off there. I don't see that happening, but at the very least, we get one bid of 1,000 lindens, 1,500 lindens. You're going to get your money back that you put into to enter. And after that, everything up and above that is just gravy. You know what I mean? The auction house will take 10% of all transactions, and the rest will be given to you. Some happy new owner of your of the dopest car out here is gonna leave here and talk about the experience. So we've been involved in auctions that I've seen custom cars go for 20-25K. So just depends on the determination of the bidders.
Okay, and if someone's late to the game and they haven't seen this on social media, because this place is packed full of cars, and guys, I'll wrap up the interview with Manny and I'll walk you around the entire space so that you can see all the cars here, and maybe just come hang out, meet people, other car enthusiasts, and vote for your favorite cars, or show up on Sunday for the theatrics or even the auction. But with that being said, if I'm late to the game and I have a dope car that I want to share, or I'm a builder and I have an amazing build, is there still time for me to enter?
So the deadline to drop a car that's going to be eligible to be built is going to be midnight tonight.
All right, so it's 10 o'clock. I'll get this video up in like 30 minutes, guys. You got 2 hours.
Midnight tonight is in Friday night.
Friday night, okay.
So you have 12 hours, yeah. So at the end of tonight, we won't allow any other cars to be put down. And that's just because of the fairness of it.
Gotcha.
You won't have time to get the votes. So.
All right, Manny, we learned so much about you today. It was such a pleasure.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity.
Do you want to leave us with anything, any jewels or any closing statements?
Not really. I mean, shit. Slow and low. August 29th, 30th to the 1st. Come check it out. It's gonna be lit. We got a couple of artists coming through doing some concert type stuff.
What time?
So tomorrow we got DJ Cirok. We got starting at 6 p.m. SLT. Saturday we have the Tokyo Rooftop Takeover. Everybody, all them DJs over there is gonna be here. So that's just gonna be crazy.
All day or just a specific block of time?
What time we starting at, y'all? 6 SLT, 5, 6 SLT,
6. I think it was 6. Yeah.
6 SLT. Yep,
Okay.
on until so. I'm also raffling off a Soul Glow, which is the Gunner Mack Customs party bus. We're going to be raffling off one of those every day of the event. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will be three lucky winners will be able to drive off in
A party bus?
8-seater party bus.
Is it rest out somewhere that we can see?
It is. Yep. Hang on, let me pull it up here.
And while you do that, are there any other prizes?
Lots of prizes, lots of giveaways. I couldn't even begin to tell you. There's gift cards for clothing stores. We got gift cards for JBC. We got gift cards for smirching suits. What is it? Smooching Serpents. We got baseball hats. We got cars. We got all kind of gifts and giveaways. Lots of stuff. Lots of stuff.
This sounds like so much fun.
Yeah. I wish I could show you the first place trophy, but it's not quite ready yet. But I will be putting that out to for everyone to see. Probably today sometime. So if you pop up to the arena, you'll see it.
And guys, as usual, I'm going to have everything in the description box below. I'll try to have schedules down there. If not today, I'll update it tomorrow for sure. I'll coordinate with Manny so that you kind of know when the DJs will be available, when to come in for raffles, auctions, so on and so forth.
All right. Soul Glow is going to pop up right over here.
Okay.
There she is.
Oh, I see it. I see it. Wow, that's like a party bus. I was thinking it's gonna be like a shuttle. That is insane. That's insane.
Oh, you
Wow.
haven't seen this?
No, I've never seen this before.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So this is the first ever fully interactive, Lovins enabled party bus.
Not 11's enabled. Okay.
Lovins enabled, yes. Seats 8. It's got a full dance, cuddle, adult menus. It's also got static poses for photos. It's fully walkable and it is drivable.
This is really nice. And guys, this is just an idea of one of the gifts. Very nice.
So we are raffling one off on Friday, raffling one off on Saturday, and then Sunday for the finale we'll raffle one more off.
Okay. All right, well, thanks, Manny. We'll let you off the hook now while I just walk them through the space. And in the meantime,
Okay.
you'll just get me a note card and just let me know specifics, maybe about prizes and schedules.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Take care.
All right, bye, guys. Well, not bye to you guys. I'll just show you some cars. We won't take too long going through it. That's definitely an old school car. And I'm actually going to start at Mack's car because I'm going to play favorites here a little bit. I showed you guys some of the cars out front. But I won't show you everything, right? Because I want you to come over and look at the cars. But I'll show you just a little bit to whet your appetite. So there we got that one.
Goddamn car. Tell me to stand back one more time.
A little Hot Whips. So that's a beauty there. And then we have one that's kind of similar next to it. It's really nice. It's a Bentley, right? So there's a Bentley there.
Saying something about changing the land group. Why? Oh, maybe he didn't tell you. It's cool.
So guys, make sure to come out and vote. Like, there's some amazing builds here. And you have the opportunity to auction and maybe get one relatively cheap without having to pay the full custom price on it in an auction.
Say that again for the people in the back.
Right?
I think people is going to flock to that. Yes. You may be able to get one of these beautiful rides that would cost you 6 or 7K for 2 or 3, just depending on who wants it, who else wants it, and whether they're willing to throw the bids up.
You heard it from the man himself, so you know I'm not making it up. All right. There's Capo's car. We showed you guys that earlier with the Louis Vuitton inspired seats. Very well done. Love the rims on that. It's beautiful. This green one here is pretty. Unfortunately, guys, I'm no car expert, so I don't know the name of all these different cars. This one's really pretty too. And we'll stop here, guys, because I don't want to show you everything because I need you to come down here and see it for yourself. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the interview and you're having an amazing night. Bye.